Steve Noviello, after a briefing from the FBI, President Obama says there is no clear evidence that the shooter at an Orlando nightclub was directed to conduct that attack or that it was part of a larger plot. The president says it appears the shooter was inspired by extremist information he got over the internet. For now, the attack, the deadliest mass shooting in the nation's history, is being treated as a terrorism investigation. Right now, investigators are still looking into the motivation of the shooter, including why a gay nightclub was targeted. Moments ago, we heard from FBI Director James Comey.
We are spending a tremendous amount of time, as you would imagine, trying to understand every moment of this killer's path to that terrible night in Orlando, to understand his motives and to understand the details of his life. You will notice that I'm not using the killer's name, and I will try not to do that. Part of what motivates sick people to do this kind of thing is some twisted notion of fame or glory, and I don't want to be part of that for the sake of the victims and their families. And of course, we're working to understand what role anti-gay bigotry may have played in motivating this attack, an attack that occurred during the very month when we recognize and celebrate our LGBT brothers and sisters.
Fox's Caroline Shively is in Orlando with more.
Authorities now giving details of the shooter's state of mind, saying he was cool and calm while talking to police and pledging his loyalty to ISIS. Families getting the news no one wants to hear. The bodies of all victims are now out of the Orlando Pulse nightclub, and officials are making the notification of next of kin a priority.
I cannot imagine being one of the parents or knowing that your loved one might be among those that are deceased and having to wait and find out.
Latin night at the gay venue violently interrupted by Omar Mateen, the 29-year-old opening fire, taking hostages, and making a chilling statement in a 911 call.
There was an allegiance to the Islamic State.
Law enforcement storming the club about 3 hours after the attack began, saving the lives of dozens of potential victims and ending Mateen's.
This is not a war zone that we are living in. This is a civilized society, and we had to deal with something unthinkable.
Mateen had no criminal record, but the FBI says he had made inflammatory comments to coworkers in the past. And 2 investigations with the Bureau are said to have been inconclusive.
If I did know a 1% that he's committing such a crime, my son, I would have arrested myself, I would have called the FBI, I would have called the local law enforcement.
Federal authorities are now conducting a criminal probe to find out if anyone knew of Mateen's plans, but they stress there is no current threat to the public. In Orlando, Caroline Shively, Fox News.
Meantime, 36 of 49 families of victims have now been notified. Only 1 of 49 victims still needs to be identified. Take a look on your screen. These are photos of 10 victims which have been posted to social media. 22-year-old Luis Vielma has relatives here in North Texas. People will gather at candlelit vigils across North Texas tonight to remember the Orlando shooting victims. Celebration Community Church in Fort Worth is holding a vigil this evening at 7. The pastor of the church says the message will be one of love, of healing, and of moving forward. There will also be a Share the Love gathering being held at the Eno's Pizza Tavern in the Bishop Arts District of Dallas. That begins at 9 p.m. Meantime, people mourn the tragedy in Orlando and the largely gay Oaklawn neighborhood of Dallas. Members of the lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgendered community were joined by their supporters at the Resource Center.
My heart shattered. It shattered. And the higher the numbers rose, the more pieces it broke into. And I just felt the need to be with people that I felt would understand what I was feeling.
Together, the group walked to the Legacy of Love Monument at the intersection of Oaklawn Avenue and Cedar Springs Road, where they also paid tribute to the victims in Orlando. The local chapter of the American Red Cross has several blood donation drives on the schedule this week. Wednesday, the organization will be at the Trammell Crow Center on Ross Avenue in Dallas. On Thursday at the College of Healthcare Professionals on LBJ Freeway, and Friday at the Lowe's on Lemon Avenue in Dallas. We put all of the lists and dates and locations in the links section of our station website, fox4news.com.